Hey, what's going on, Amazon? Today we're going to take a look at this MetFut semiconductor laptop cooling stand. Let me tell you guys right off the bat, this thing's a tank, right? I was really surprised at the weight of this item when I received it. So this whole thing is made of metal except for the actual fan mechanism in the center. Now, we'll go take a look at it here in a second, but this thing gets cold instantly, and I was a little confused here with this 2-level cooling power because basically the button turns it on and off. I mean, it doesn't do anything else. It turns it on and off. And then I got to reading the manual, and it says that there's a 5-watt and a 20-watt rating, low and high power, and that you have to use an external power source or USB power bank in order to get the 20 watts to work, which would make it, work a little bit better. I don't have anything around me right now to test that 20 watt rating, but I will detail that in the written part of my review. Now, as I'm going to use it, it's going to be plugged into the laptop all the time. So, running a separate power bank to get the most out of this thing, it's kind of a hassle. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Not actually desirable and not really what I expected out of the unit. I really wanted it to run off of the supply of the laptop. But I guess it is an option if you want to run external power supply. You have something, a fast charger capable of 20 watts or more. It's going to be colder. Now, this is true. It is ultra quiet. I could barely hear it when I was testing it out. This does work instantly. Like they say 3 seconds. I felt it get cold as soon as I plugged it in. That's the 3 seconds. There's 2-level. We already talked about that. Carbon steel. I believe that this thing is heavy. It is heavy, heavy, heavy. And it's going to take some effort in order to adjust the angles on it, but they did that on purpose, again, noted in the manual, in order for stability. So not a downside in my opinion, and they included some tools. So if you want to loosen it up, put it in a position that you want, and then tighten up the nuts again, you can also do it that way, but it can be adjusted without loosening anything up, and it's adjustable and rotatable. Let's go take a look at it. So here we are in my my shop slash office, and I'm a contractor, so, hence the pile of tools in the corner there and the air compressor in the back there. But we're here for this, guys. Check this out. One finger. You hear little clicks, little detents. It's pretty nice, guys. It's nice and smooth. It rotates. You can set it up at any angle. As you can see here, I'm going to tip the camera, so you're going to probably have to tip your head. I have it set up at pretty extreme angle because I got some stuff going on here, right? So I have a cooler on my gaming system. I have an external monitor, and I needed a cooler for this older laptop because when I do video editing on this one, it tends to slow down and cook a little bit. So one thing worthy of note here, the semiconductor that gets cold is in the center of these two brackets here, right? So basically right up the middle. Now, as you can see, I have my laptop offset because my laptop gets hot right about here, right where my 3 fingers are. And in order to get that semiconductor on that hot spot, I had to shift the laptop over. It's not unstable or anything. It's on there pretty good. I'm not worried about it falling off, even like chucking it around. It's got some bumpers on it to hold it in place. We'll take a look back here. As you can see here, this pad gets this pad's cold, guys. Like, I'm not even playing. It's cold to the touch. It feels like you just took a drink out of the fridge. It's got some blue lights in there. It comes with a USB cord with it's USB-C to C, or USB-C to USB-A with a USB-A to USB-C adapter included on it, which I thought was a nice touch. This thing's all steel. Here's the rubber bumpers I was talking about. You can see them here and here, and it's overall, it's just a solid, built like a tank unit. I'm happy with it. It's not going to be for everyone though, guys, right? Because like I said, that semiconductor that gets cold, the cold pad is right in the center. And if your hotspot on your particular machine can't be lined up with the center, or you don't want it offset like I have mine here, this is a compromise. And I actually don't mind it. It's not bothering me as bad as I thought it was going to bother me. And like I said, with the rubber bumpers and stuff on here, this laptop's solid. It's not tippy or wobbly. I don't feel like it's going to fall off, even at this maximum extreme angle that I have this thing on. I mean, this thing's it's opened up almost as far as it can go, and this thing can still adjust more. It's got way more adjustment built into it. I really like the swivel on it. That's pretty mint in my opinion. I like that I have more desk space to store stuff here now, like files and paperwork and stuff when I'm working. So overall, I'm pretty happy with it. But the fan does not put out that big a breeze. So there's two fans, one on each side of that semiconductor. It's not that big of a breeze. I can hold my hand back here, and literally I can breathe harder than this when I'm talking. So that may also be something that's a concern to some of y'all. With the fact that it has that cold pad, I don't see the fans not moving that much air being that much of an issue, because that whole center portion is open on top of the fans blowing and on top of that little pad getting cold. So as far as heat transfer is concerned, it's doing what it needs to do, just with that cold pad alone. And I believe these fans are just there to give it a little bit of extra help. It's not the focal point to this cooling stand. The focal point to this cooling stand is that center cooling semiconductor, the Peltier unit that is in this one that they are selling it on. Now, this one here, this is a giant one. It's got a huge fan in the middle. This thing moves tons of air, you know, and that's all it does. It doesn't have a cooling pad on it. This thing is still warm up here on this side of it. Never mind on the other side. But this thing gets hot at the top up here, right? So due to that, it's not deep enough. I can't get that cooling fan and Peltier unit, the semiconductor unit they're calling it. I can't get it high enough on the machine to cool this portion of the machine, which is where this one gets hot. So that may also be a concern to some of y'all, as far as like where your hot spot is on your machine. Now, it's going to work out for this machine. It will not work out for this machine. And I originally really wanted it for this machine because this machine cooks. So this machine gets hot. And my main hot spot is up over the F keys right in here. Right? This is the hottest part of the laptop right here. And I can't get that cooling fan or that cooling pad up high enough on the actual mount in order to address that with this machine. But I can locate it to hit the center portion of this machine right about here. Well, to center it with this machine off-centered to hit this center, the center hotspot that's lower down is what I'm trying to say. So some things to take into consideration on this unit. But if all of these things are going to work out for you, yeah, I recommend it. The thing's built like a tank. I love the adjustments on it. I love how solid it is and how smooth it and how solid it stays. It stays where you put it. You don't have to constantly adjust it. Like, I'm not going to walk away in 4 hours and this thing's not going to slowly like collapse on me, right? It's going to be right here every day for the next 3 years if I want it that way. So it's never going to move. That is what I like it for. But all those other things are worthy of note. I mean, they have to be mentioned. It's going to work for some machines and some people, and for some machines and some people, it's not going to be a compatible unit. It's not going to be a good fit for you. And the classic example right here, just on the same desk as that one. So if your machine gets really hot towards the top of your F keys, this is not going to work for you unless you have a small machine. You know, this is a bigger machine. This is like a medium-sized machine. If you had a small machine that got hot near the top, it might be able to work for you. But you know, the 15.6 and bigger, when it gets hot near the top, it's probably not going to work for you. So anyway, enough babbling. I recommend it. I like it for certain machines and certain people. Hope that helped you make a purchase decision on this particular item. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and have a great day.